welcome to Evolution Film Developing Film Treatment Workshop. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate every single one of you late in the evening to join us in this workshop. This is going to be recorded and we might post it on our Evolution Film YouTube channel. So if you don't want to be, on camera, just let me know after we finish so we can edit that part. Tonight we have DIONYSIOS NIKOLAOS LOUNTZIS, or Nick LOUNTZIS, who will deliver for us developing film treatment workshop. And you are in for a treat because the information that you will receive, you might know it, it might be the first time that you join us. It is accessible. It's very pretty straightforward. It's even I understood it that I'm not, a writer. So it's going to be a great experience. I can promise you this. Please keep your questions for the end. We will try and make this experience for you as interactive as possible. If you have any questions, please keep them for the end, and then we are happy to answer, as much as we can. So Nick LOUNTZIS is a producer, a writer, and a director. He made the first film in English language in Greece in 2007, and it won that award, and it was in the Greek cinema history, with entirely Greek crew and cast in an English language. He's also been to short film festivals. In the independent scale, he has two feature films behind his back, and he was happy to deliver for us tonight this workshop. Nick, the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raina. Good evening, everybody. We're here together. I'm going to just start sharing my presentation to talk about film treatment, which, one moment, please. Can you see the first slide?
Yes, all clear.
Yeah, it's all there. Thank you. Right. Tonight, this lovely evening together, we're going to go and talk about film treatment. What is a film treatment? What is it for? What the film treatment should contain? How should film treatment be proper formatted? And I start without anything. So, what is a film treatment? A film treatment is a document that provides a detailed overview of a proposed film. It serves the first step in development of a screenplay or a script. The treatment outlines the key elements of the story. While it is more detailed than a logline and a synopsis, it is less extensive than a full screenplay. So we want to create a film. Yeah. We have a story in our head that we want to write. We need to have the story ready, and then from the story we can create a treatment on the story. You cannot have a treatment without having a complete story. This is something that needs to be emphasized, because some students sometimes think that I can have a treatment without a finished story, just with an idea. That's not a film treatment, that is something else. Also, the difference between the film treatment and a screenplay or a script. A treatment is a brief overview of a film concept, providing a broad outline of the plot and characters. What it's used for? It's used for pitching and initial development. So it cannot be the last draft, the last form of your story, because this can be changed if you talk with a potential producer that wants to produce it. But it can be like a first, second, third draft, not something ready. Yeah. A screenplay is a detailed script containing scene-by-scene descriptions and dialogue, specific instructions for filmmaking, and it's something different. When you want to write a screenplay, you need to go into a specific software like Celtics. When you want to write a treatment, you do not need any of those. You can have your your Word document, and you can write it as long as it is in the right format. So together we're going to talk about film treatment. What a film treatment contains, what are the components, what are the key elements, the main things that a film treatment should have. And that is the film title, the film working title, a log line, a synopsis, a character description, setting, themes and tones, and visual elements. Those 7 components are the main components, the components that you need to have in your film treatment. We'll start with the first one, which is the title, which is the easiest one. Is the working title of your film. The title that you have decided that the film is going to be called. Log line. What is a log line? Log line is 1 or 2 sentences summary that captures the essence of the story and intrigues the reader. So from your whole story, from your whole idea of, so basically what you need to do before you go to write the log line and all the components is to have an idea, to imagine, close your eyes and imagine how your film will look after editing. And I'm talking about color, atmosphere, everything that you think, everything, a ready, 100% ready product, film. So the log line will be the first thing that the producer or the potential investor sees on your treatment. It's something that needs to be captivating. An example from James Bond film, No Time to Die. The log line was, the mission to rescue a kidnapped scientist turns out to be far more treacherous than expected, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology. Of course, you need, if you haven't seen the film, you won't understand what it is, this specific what I've just read, but for you that you have seen the film, you see that it's something that it talks about the film, it says, it gives an idea what it is the film about, and it tries to capture and intrigue the person that reads it. Log line is very, very important. It's, as I say, is the first thing. Now, the second component, which is very, very important as well, synopsis. It's something that, what I said earlier, you need to have a full story. It's a more detailed narrative summary of the film, covering the major plot points, character arcs, and key events. It provides a broader view of the story without going into scene-by-scene details, which that is the screenplay. Let's go further into the synopsis. A synopsis should include the working film title, the genre or the genres, if it is comedy, thriller, drama. The log line that we have already talked about needs to be there. That captures the central idea and intrigue of the story. Then we need to have main characters, introduce the main characters, including their names, roles, and any essential characteristics. About the characters in the treatment are a different component. As you saw in the very beginning, it's one of the 7 components. But in The synopsis, character needs to be there, so we understand more, we understand easier, it flows better. We understand better what we want to give to the audience, to the person that reads our treatment. Essential characteristics, that is even the heritage, the age, all these. Then in the synopsis need to be the setting, which setting is also an extra component, but again it needs to be in the synopsis as well, not as detailed as it's going to be in its own, but again describe the time, the place where the story unfolds, establishing the overall atmosphere and context. A film, the synopsis should also include inciting incidents, highlight the events or circumstances that set the main plot in motion. Synopsis needs to have major plot points. You need to outline the key events and turning points in the story, focusing on the main narrative arc. Of course, the conflict needs to be in the synopsis, which you need to clearly present the central conflict or challenges the characters face, driving the tension and drama. Character arcs briefly describe how the main characters evolve or change throughout the story. The climax, where the film reaches the highest, identify the high point of tension or the most crucial moment in the narrative. The synopsis also needs to have resolution, which is we summarize how the central conflict is resolved and the outcome for the main characters. You need to touch upon any overarching themes or messages conveyed in the film and indicate the emotional tone of the film as well in the synopsis, but not as much detail as it's going to be on the other components, which they're on their own. Also, you can talk about the length of the film, typically ranging from 1 to 3 pages, depending on specific guidelines. That's the synopsis. Basically, the synopsis is our film. It needs to have the beginning, the plot, the middle, the end, the climax, as we said, but not so much in detail as it would be in a screenplay. You don't need to put everything in there, but you need to put what you think needs to be there, what you think it's important to be there. For instance, in a film story, there are scenes that are there just for the sake of the flow or for helping continuity. This is not what we need in the synopsis. In the synopsis, we need the making points, but we also need something that has a beginning and an end. The goal of the synopsis is to provide a comprehensive yet concise overview of the film's story, allowing readers to understand its narrative, structure, key elements, and emotional journey without delving in every detail. Synopsis is very, very important because it's the film itself, like the story, the plot. Another component, character descriptions. As we said earlier, we put some character descriptions in the synopsis, but now it's the time for the proper character descriptions. The characters that will be in our film, information about the main characters, including their backgrounds, motivations, and how they contribute to the story. Now you can be more detailed about hate, about if the character has any specific background issues, or the character has, for instance, habits. All those things can go into the character description. The more you describe the main characters, the better it is for the reader to understand the synopsis, the story. That's why character description is very important. I'm going to give you an example. The film Pretty Woman, I believe we have all seen that. Julia Roberts plays Vivian Ward, and a character description of that character is a vivacious and independent young woman who works as a prostitute on Hollywood Boulevard. She's a street smart, confident, and has a sharp sense of humor. Despite her tough exterior, Vivian is vulnerable and dreams of a better life. Throughout the film, she undergoes significant personal growth and transformation as she becomes involved in a romantic relationship with Edward Lewis. That's another character. What we could add in this description, we could add how old. We say young, so we give a range. But if in our head we know that she's 25 years old, we need to put 25 years old. If in our head we need to believe that she's a British woman, we put a British woman with a London accent, for instance. We can add more things into it. But even a description like this of the character is still good enough for the reader to understand more about the story, because the character is in the story. Setting, another important thing. A description of the time and place in which the story unfolds. This includes any relevant details about the world the character inhabits. When and where is that film taking place? What year, which give us more information about how it used to be. Things like in the 60s, they had a different dress code. They were dressing different. They were listening to different music. Even the way people are talking are changing years by year, like different slang language. All these in the setting. I will give you an example with Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, which is a 2009 war film. The movie is set during World War II and is known for its alternate history take on events. The primary setting in the film includes, and now we go to give information about the setting. Nazi-occupied France, 1944. So we know that this is where the film is taking place. The majority of the film is set in German-occupied France. These include scenes in Paris and the French countryside. The characters navigate through a tense and dangerous atmosphere as they work against the Nazi regime. La Louisiana Tavern. It's a setting. It's something that, if you remember, stands out in the actual film. Needs to be there on the setting of our treatment. A significant portion of the film takes place in a tavern called La Louisiane, where key characters converge and pivotal events unfold. Also, you remember the cinema, that Shoshana cinema is very important because it's big thing in the film. Shoshana Dreyfus, one of the main characters, owns a cinema in France. This setting becomes crucial to the plot and the character plans. So now we give, for instance, the tavern, the cinema, our setting. Setting is not only the year and the country that the film is taking place, it's also settings that we believe are very important, are the key, the main ones, the ones that, like, if you've seen Inglourious Basterds, I'm 100% sure you remember the tavern where it's an English spy that pretends that he's a German officer, and because of his accent, his German accent, soldiers from another table. It happened to be some German soldiers that they listen to him and they're like, this accent is not right. It's important things. But apart from the setting like the tavern, the cinema, we also use as a setting the premiere, which is in the Shoshana cinema, which we already have said, but is the setting of the film. Like the film also features a cinematic setting at a movie premiere in a cinema where several characters execute a daring plan to assassinate high-ranking Nazi officials. So just quickly to recap, the setting is not only the year and the country, it's also key places, main places, the places that we think that are making a difference in our films, and also events like the premiere, like that needs to be there, needs to be mentioned to intrigue the reader and also to give a better understanding along with the synopsis. Themes and tones, another component. When we hear about themes and tones, we think about myself. When I think about themes and tones, I think about coloring, film grading, this type of element. But really, it's an exploration of the overarching themes of the film and the emotional tone it aims to convey. Some films, for instance, have a mood, a very low mood, down mood. These need to be mentioned in the themes and tones to give to the reader to understand, to put the reader into the ideal what am I watching? Is it like and again, coloring straight away, if you give information about themes and tones of the film in your film treatment, straight away the reader start having colors of your the color of the film as well, and the atmosphere. The Ninth Gate. I'm going to give an example of The Ninth Gate. The Ninth Gate is a 1999 supernatural thriller film directed by Roman Polanski, starring Johnny Depp. The movie explores themes of mystery, the supernatural, and the search for forbidden knowledge. Let's see some themes and tones of The Ninth Gate. Themes: occult and forbidden knowledge. The film delves into the world of the supernatural centered around a rare book that supposedly contains a ritual for summoning the devil. The pursuit of forbidden knowledge is a central theme as the protagonist seeks to solve the mysteries within the book. Duality. The concept of duality is prevalent in the film, with the protagonist, Dean Corso, navigating between the realms of good and evil, truth and deception. This theme is reflected in the dual nature of characters and situations. Corruption. The film explores the corrupting influence of power and desire. Characters are driven by their ambitions, leading to moral compromises and dark consequences. Mystery and intrigue. The Ninth Gate is built around a mysterious plot involving rare books, enigmatic symbols, and hidden meanings. The theme of mystery keeps the audience engaged as Corso puzzles out the secrets behind the book. That is the themes. Now, some tones for the Ninth Gate. Mysterious. The film maintains a mysterious and enigmatic tone throughout, keeping the audience in suspense as they follow Corso's investigation into the rare book and its supernatural implications. Dark and atmospheric. The visual and atmospheric elements contribute to a dark and brooding tone. The setting include ancient libraries and change the film's mysterious and ominous atmosphere. Suspenseful. The narrative is structured to create suspense, especially as Corso faces various challenges and encounters enigmatic characters in his quest for the truth. Supernatural. With its focus of the occult and the supernatural elements, the film carries a sense of the supernatural and otherworldly. This contributes to a sense of unease and fascination. So, from the themes and the tones, you're getting more about the film. You kind of completing what is missing from our head to create the final image, because you adding the atmosphere and you with the tone, with the themes, you adding more elements into the actual story. The last one is visual elements. Some treatments may include visual aids, such as images or mood boards, to help convey the visual style and atmosphere of the film. Of course, a film treatment doesn't have any footage, anything, because it hasn't been filmed yet. But if you have in your head, I'm going to give you an example with the film Matrix, the 1999 science fiction action film. We can see here that is a mood board. That is not necessary, that none of those pictures have been taken from the actual film. It's something that we believe, like, because of the matrix and the coding and the color green, we like that we put it there because we feel it's going to give more to the reader to understand where he enters when watching the film. And also images like this one, like you see cables, screens, it puts you into the where you have to think about using elements, because this sometimes can be interpreted wrong by the reader. But if it is something that you believe it will help to give more to the reader, please do it. Please put it there. It's very important. Film treatments are often used in the early stages of development when pitching a film idea to producers, investors, or to the stakeholders. They provide a quick and comprehensive overview of proposal project, helping decision maker assess its potential before committing to a full screenplay. While treatments can vary in length and detail, they generally aim to capture the creative vision and marketability of the film concept. How are we writing? Let's go to the formatting. This is the elements that we went through one by one. If you need more information or further explanation on any of the elements that the treatment includes, please, after I finish the presentation, feel free to ask me and I will happily answer. Proper formatting is crucial when creating a film treatment, as it helps convey the information clearly and professionally. Some tips are: use standard font and size. Choose a standard, easy to read font, such as Times New Roman or Arial. Use a font size between 11 and 12 for the main text. Set margins. Set 1-inch margins on all sides of the document. That ensures a clean and professional appearance. Don't forget the title page. I know this is something, but don't forget to create a title page that includes the film's title, your name, contact information, your log line, of course. Begin with a log line that captures the essence of the story. And you can consider using bold or italic formatting to make the long line stand out. Section headings, something that should have clearly label different sections of the treatment with bold underlined headings like logline, synopsis, character descriptions, so it's clear. Paragraphs, keep paragraph concise and focus on specific points. Double space between paragraphs to enhance readability. In the character descriptions, start a new section for the character descriptions, providing details such as names, roles, and key characteristics. Use bullet points or a consistent format for each character's information. It has to be consistent format, like any other, like any film, any story, any document. The synopsis, as we say, we went through, broken down into paragraphs or sections. That is very good. Maintain a chronological order to help readers follow the narrative. Chronological order. Maintain a consistency in formatting throughout the document, including font and size, like we said. And throughout, proofread and edit the treatment, the grammatical errors, typos, and clarity. Consider seeking feedback from others to ensure the document is easy to be understood. As I say, you don't need a specific software to write a film treatment. As long as you're using this type of formatting and you have the elements that we said, your film treatment should be good enough for an investor or somebody to read and understand what is your film. That's me with the presentation right now.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, so if you want to ask any kind of questions, you can just raise your hand on the bottom or type it so we can answer your questions. Any volunteers to break the ice? Richard says, well done, Nick. That was very interesting. Shah says, thank you. That was incredibly useful.
I see Gavin raised his hand. Am I right?
Gavin, fire away.
Thanks very much for that, Nick. It was really good. It's good to be contextualized with all those examples as well. Made it much easier to follow. Appreciate it. I just had one question about the log line, actually. Now, would you say that the log line includes any sort of plot twist? So, for example, in The Sixth Sense, would the log line tell us that Malcolm Crowe was dead all along? Or would it tell us Unusual Suspects? Sorry if anyone's not seen it, that Verbal Kint is actually Kaiser Soze. Would that be in the log line?
This is great. What you just asked is great, Gavin, because you can spoil your whole film by giving information like that. For instance, The Sixth Sense, you can give that information, but not straight away, but not obvious. Like you can say that things that they look like that are not really what they look. Try, of course, with my bad English as a Greek guy, I cannot create it. I need to work on it 5-6 times to create something like that. But definitely not to give from the plot, like you said, unless it's not spoiling it. But you can use it in a different way. Try to be. I know you're a writer. I know you can write it in a smart way, like to say things are not what they look, are different. Or the film with DiCaprio, that the Shutter Island. Have you seen that? Yeah. One of the log lines can be U.S. Marshal goes into an island and explores this, and this, but everything seems to be a different story around it. So you are preparing the reader that there will be a conflict that he's going to see in the synopsis later on, in the synopsis, but you're not giving straight away food to understand the plot. I don't know if I answered the question or you want me to.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So it's about setting the intrigue without giving it away.
Perfect. I wish I was English and I could say it straight away like you did.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much.
No problem.
Anyone else? I have a question.
Yeah, sorry, may I? Oh, sorry, I
Go
can't
on,
find
no,
my.
no. Go on. I have
Sorry,
a question.
sorry, Roni. Yeah, I was trying to find the hands up and I can't. Actually, let me put my camera on. And I can prove I'm a real person as well. Thanks, Nick. That was brilliant. That was so much good information.
Thank you.
One of the things I wondered when you're submitting treatments to different production companies, just accept it in different in whatever format, that you wouldn't find one insisting on you've got to do it this way. So just as long as you follow the guidelines you've given us, we should be safe.
That is correct. There is no such a thing like, for instance, if you want to submit a script, a screenplay, it needs to be through Celtics. It needs to be through what is the other? It needs to be in a specific software that you need to purchase, and you need to go in detail like that. In a film treatment, you only need to include the film components, the key elements, and how you feel and how you see. Like you close your eyes and you see your film, and then you try to put it on the paper.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, as long as it is a paper like with, as I say, with having the paragraphs, with having the section headings, and has a nice flow. You don't need anything specific or a way. I mean, I have seen treatments before with Raina, I remember, which were totally different written, but they were all good, all understandable, and very good to flow.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Now, the only reason I'd ask is my background's journalism, and the kind of pitching and treatments there is actually quite well, it's kind of very random almost. So I was just, because I've got an idea I want to pursue. I'm interested in how it kind of transfers obviously into film. So brilliant. Thank you for explaining that. Really appreciate it.
No problem. And also, if you have even the first idea, the very first idea, and you think, put it down on the paper. Roles, also characters. What I do when I start writing a film, and I know that I will write the treatment. I even think about the age of the characters. I'm like 53 or 45. Close my eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, 45, white British from Birmingham, blonde hair, having a habit of chewing gum all the time. All these. It's like creating a how can I say, a book, but it's not really a book. We're giving the image, but not the way a book does in the same paragraph. We're giving it in different sections. As I said, log line, synopsis, character creators, setting, all these. Thank you.
Fab. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep. The treatment, as I say, it's an overview of the film that it's used for pitching and initial development. Like normally it's for the producers, for potential investors that you want to create the film, or for more development. But it's not just a story. It's more than a story. It's, as I said, it has those components that make it look more completed. And the person that reads it, the investor, the potential investor, would get the idea, the point, more than just a simple story. Yeah, you're writing a treatment for potential investors, stakeholders, even for further development.
Nick?
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Can be any stage, yeah.
basically treatments for people who aren't creative, who don't have a creative bone in their body to understand what the film's going to be about. Is that basically what it means? Yeah, like people like producers and stuff who aren't creative.
I believe yeah, it's making it. If I give you just a story to read, even if you're not a creative or not, if I give you a story to read, you will understand the story. If I give you a treatment to read, you will understand the film. Like everything else that goes with the story. Characters, settings, tones. And it's for both, I believe, Richard. It's for creatives and non-creatives. It is the information that you receive. Of course, if you're more creative, as I say, you can close your eyes after reading a treatment and have a final draft of your film. If you're not such a creative, maybe closing your eyes won't work, but it's definitely going to give you more information and it's going to help you to understand more about the film and not only a story. There are some books that they make them films. Yeah, Stephen King books, so many writers that they're making them films. The story is there. And some parts of the treatment, but there is no treatment. The treatment comes out from the way they describe their story in their book. The setting is coming out. For instance, hypothetically, as I say, I'm reading a book, and the book says it's a sunny morning, 6 o'clock, where the rain couldn't stop, and the sound of the thunders were scaring the whole neighborhood. You could see the milkman outside with an umbrella try to make a living. So straight away I go to the setting. Even though it's a book, you extract the setting from it. I don't know if you understand. It's a different way of writing, of course.
I think
Thank you, Phil.
from a business point of view and like as an independent producer, although I love to have the script and to smell the page of a new written script, I wouldn't agree to read a script before I read the treatment, just to see whether I'm not gonna wasting my time reading the whole screenplay, right? So I think this is where you catch the first attention. You're like, okay, I'm actually interested in this. I want more. So I think the treatment, how to know to write that treatment is like really important so it can get you that investment or potential producers or collaborators for your project. Okay, brilliant. Guys, it's been lovely to have you all tonight, and thank you for sticking until the end. Now, Jason asked me to announce something, and it's going to be a very closed invitation only event, basically, right? Our final event from the Evolution film with relation to the funding on the British Academy that we have received, as it comes to an end now, will be on the 4th of May. And we're gonna have cast and crew from all 3 films that we have supported, we have backed there. So it's invitation only. So if any of you would like to come along and to network with those people, and it's going to be we're gonna see the films that we have supported. There will be some food there, networking opportunities. There will be people from the industry, so it's going to be very beneficial. If you want to create your own opportunities, I would strongly suggest this. As I said, it's only for 60 people, and it is invitation only event, just for the purposes of that closed group where we have had consistent following for the last couple of years. But we can only accommodate this little amount of people where we can kind of celebrate what we have achieved, and it has been amazing. We have had such a strong turnover and very low dropout rates from our events all throughout this last 2 years, and we are very grateful for the support that you are providing by sharing and sticking with those events and coming over and supporting. So we want to as an appreciation to invite you as the first. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. People don't know about this event yet, and now I'm organizing it with the Montfort University team, events team as well. But if you would like to come over, I'll pop my email on the box now, and just send me an email that you want to come. It's on the 4th of May from 1 until 5, I believe. It's on afternoon 1. It's gonna be in Leicester and the Phoenix. It's independent cinema in Leicester. Okay. Thank you.
Diary.
Okay. So again, thank you so much for being here tonight and for sticking until the end. I hope you had a great experience, and I hope to see you soon in person.